Design junkies, buckle up, because this deep dive is going to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about one image.
Okay.
Just one image.
One image.
But it's packed with so much to unpack. It's insane.
Yeah.
So imagine this, all right. A figure,
Okay.
like, draped in this, like, super avant-garde outfit, strutting through this space.
Okay.
That's all, like, organic arches.
Whoa.
It's like a fashion editorial shot inside some futuristic cathedral. And honestly, it's blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty striking. The
Yeah.
way it kind of blends the human form with this like otherworldly architecture.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching a new design language being born right in front of you.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Dive deep into this image and dissect everything.
Oh, God.
From the garment silhouette to the crazy light and shadow play in that space.
I'm in.
We're going to hit the fashion, the architecture, the interior design choices.
Okay.
And we'll even see if we can like crack the code of whatever conceptual message it's trying to throw at us.
It is a visual feast.
It is.
Packed with potential interpretations, for sure.
So much.
But before we get lost in the conceptual weeds,
Right.
let's start with the garment itself.
Yes.
That silhouette, those exaggerated shoulders, the cinched waist, and the texture play on the sleeves. Statement piece, for sure.
Oh, yeah, totally. Giving me major, powerful vibes, like regal.
Right.
Imagine walking a runway and that everyone's eyes on you.
For sure.
But it's not all power.
Yeah.
You know, there's like this delicate feminine thing woven in there too.
Absolutely. It's a really fascinating mix of strength and grace.
Yeah.
You can definitely see the architectural influence in this silhouette.
Totally.
Like those exaggerated shoulders.
Yeah.
They echo those bold, cantilevered structures you see in buildings.
Yeah.
And then that fitted waist really highlights the human form.
It does.
Especially against those flowing, almost like ethereal lines of the top part of the garment.
It's like a building but draped on the body.
Yeah.
But with this softness, you know, this fluidity, that makes it feel so dynamic. Oh, and those boots.
The boots.
So grounded, so practical, almost like anchoring the whole look to reality.
Yeah, yeah.
While the rest of the outfit's like defying gravity.
Right.
Do you think that's intentional? Like playing with that contrast of practical versus aspirational?
I think you might be onto something there.
Really?
It's like a reminder that even in the most out there designs, there's still that need for balance between fantasy and what actually works.
Right, right.
And speaking of out there,
Yeah.
does this garment remind you of any of the haute couture masters?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm getting like McQueen drama.
Yeah.
And Iris Van Herpen's like crazy texture and form mastery.
Totally. That sculpted detail on the sleeves.
Yeah.
It's like pleated fabric, but from the future.
Yeah.
They took haute couture techniques and just launched them into another dimension.
I love that.
And speaking of other dimensions,
Oh, yeah?
let's talk about the space.
The space?
Those sweeping arches,
Yeah.
creating that tunnel effect. It's like
Yeah.
you're being pulled into a world where architecture and nature are just seamlessly blended.
It's giving me Zaha Hadid vibes.
Yes.
But with a softer, more biomorphic edge.
Yeah.
Like we stumbled into something that grew organically rather
Yeah.
than being like precisely engineered.
And that rhythm of the arches, how they repeat and recede, it creates this crazy sense of depth and movement. It's like
Yeah.
walking through a wave or maybe even a futuristic rib cage.
Yeah.
Unsettling and captivating all at the same time.
And the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like warm golds and cool whites dancing across the curves.
The symphony of light.
Creating this otherworldly feel.
Masterful.
It is. The way the light filters through those arches, highlighting the texture.
Yeah.
It's like filtered sunlight in a forest, but futuristic.
Exactly.
Oh, and speaking of texture, the arches themselves aren't just smooth curves.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
You have this tactile quality, almost like pleated fabric or even carved wood.
That level of detail, it elevates the whole image.
Yeah.
It's not just a visual anymore. It becomes an experience.
A multi-sensory experience.
And that texture, it's not just aesthetic.
Right.
It reinforces that connection back to the garment,
Right.
creating a visual conversation between the human form and the architecture.
It's like they were designed as two parts of the same whole.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if this space was made for this garment or the other way around.
Interesting.
Like they were born from the same creative spark.
That is a really fascinating question.
Isn't it?
And it speaks to the bigger potential of this image. Is this a peek into a future where fashion and architecture are inseparable?
Whoa.
Where buildings are designed with the human form in mind?
Yeah.
And clothes echo the structures they're worn in.
Mind-blowing.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. But before we get too ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
I want to go back to something you mentioned.
What's that?
The minimalism of this space.
Right.
There's no clutter, no extra decor.
Nope.
It's all about the architectural form and the way light and shadow play on it.
That's a powerful choice in itself.
It is. Like they're saying, the architecture is the art. Let it speak for itself.
And it works.
Doesn't it?
It works.
The space feels so serene,
Peaceful.
almost meditative, like a sanctuary from all the craziness outside.
And that serenity is just amplified by the limited color palette.
Right.
Whites, golds, deep blacks, screams luxury and timelessness.
But it's not cold, is it?
Not at all.
Not sterile. Those warm lights against the cool background.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a balance, a welcoming feeling.
Exactly. It's a space that invites you in.
Yeah.
Invites you to explore and experience the light and form.
Yeah.
Almost as if the space itself is a garment,
Whoa.
enveloping you in beauty and peace.
Okay, so we've talked fashion, architecture, lighting, even texture.
What's left?
There's one element we haven't hit yet. The figure.
Oh, right.
They're not just standing there passively.
No.
They're moving, walking confidently through this incredible space.
And that movement, that's key.
It is.
It suggests a journey, a transition, a sense of purpose.
Totally.
It's as if the figure is leading us through this fusion of fashion and architecture,
Yeah.
inviting us to explore the possibilities of a future where design just breaks all the rules.
It's like they're saying, come with us, see what we see.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the heart of why this image is so powerful.
What's that?
It's not just visually stunning, it's conceptually rich.
Oh, yeah.
It's like layers of symbolism just waiting to be peeled back.
Like an onion.
So let's peel it back. What's your take on this figure, this journey they seem to be on? What's the story here?
Well, the source material offers a few different interpretations.
Okay.
Some critics see it as a symbol of progress, like humanity moving towards a future that's more technologically advanced and aesthetically sophisticated.
Yeah.
Others see it as a representation of the creative process itself.
Oh, wow.
The constant evolution of ideas
Yeah.
and blurring the lines between different disciplines.
I love that. The figure as like the embodiment of creation itself.
Right.
Like walking through a portal into the unknown.
Yeah.
Forging a new path for design and self-expression.
Powerful imagery.
It is.
Yeah.
But there's also this sense of isolation, isn't there?
Oh, interesting.
The figure's completely alone in this vast, almost sterile space,
That's a good point. It adds another layer to the whole thing.
doesn't it?
Is that isolation a symbol of the artist's struggle?
Mm-hmm.
The solitary nature of exploration?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a comment on the alienation that can come with technology.
Oh,
That feeling of being lost in a world that's changing too fast.
that gives me chills. It's like the image is reflecting our own anxieties about the future back at us. Like that fear of being left behind as technology and design just race ahead.
It's a valid fear.
Right. But at the same time, there's this sense of hope, of possibility.
Absolutely.
The figure is moving forward, embracing the unknown, and that's powerful.
It is. It's a reminder that even when things are uncertain, there's always a way forward.
Right.
And that path is often forged through creativity, through our willingness to push boundaries and embrace new ways of seeing and being in the world.
Beautifully said. But let's not forget this image. For all its beauty and conceptual depth, it's also gotten some criticism.
Oh, yeah.
Some folks find it overwhelming,
Really?
too theatrical,
Interesting.
too detached from reality.
That's true. Not everyone is comfortable with that level of boldness,
Yeah.
the sheer scale and intensity.
Yeah, I mean, those exaggerated shoulders and those towering arches, some people might find them more imposing than inspiring.
Definitely.
And then there's the question of functionality.
Right.
I mean, the garment and the space are visually stunning,
Oh, yeah.
but could you actually wear that outfit?
Yeah.
Live in that space? Would you even want to?
Those are the questions that always come up with avant-garde design. Versus function, practicality versus artistry.
Right.
It's a constant debate. And in this case, the focus is clearly on pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
Totally.
exploring the outer limits of form and expression.
Yeah.
Functionality takes a back seat to the overall impact, the message the image is conveying.
Which in the world of art and design is completely valid.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, isn't the whole point of art to provoke, to challenge, to make us think differently?
Couldn't agree more.
Right. But even within the avant-garde,
Yeah.
there are degrees of success.
Of course.
And one critique is that this image feels too controlled,
Too perfect.
too symmetrical.
Like it's lacking those organic imperfections that we see in nature.
It's very precise, very calculated.
Yeah.
But I also think that's part of what makes it appealing.
Really?
Like a perfectly rendered vision of the future.
Okay.
This world where design has reached this insane level of sophistication and control.
A utopian vision.
Yeah.
And while it may not be entirely realistic,
Right.
it's definitely inspiring.
It is.
It makes you wonder, what if we could shape our world with that level of precision, that level of aesthetic harmony?
Yeah.
What kind of future could we create?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And it's one that designers are grappling with right now.
For sure.
The fusion of fashion and architecture is a trend that's picking up speed.
It is.
And as technology keeps advancing,
Yeah.
we're probably going to see even more amazing examples of this kind of cross-disciplinary collaboration.
Imagine buildings that flow and move like fabric,
Whoa.
clothes that adapt to their environment like living things.
Mind-blowing.
The possibilities are endless.
They are. It's like the line between our built environment and the clothes we wear is blurring,
Mm-hmm.
creating this whole new landscape for creative exploration.
It's exciting.
It is. But beyond all the cool technology,
Yeah.
I think there's a growing awareness of the emotional impact of design.
Oh, yeah.
The way our surroundings can shape our moods, our thoughts.
Our sense of self,
Oh,
this
yes.
image with its light and shadow play, its focus on texture and form.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to that desire for spaces that aren't just functional,
Right.
but also beautiful, inspiring, even transformative.
It's like they're saying design isn't just about shelter. It's about creating experiences that enrich our lives,
Yeah.
that connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to the figure in the image,
Okay.
that solitary journey through this extraordinary space.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that design is ultimately a human endeavor,
It is.
a reflection of our hopes, our fears, our aspirations for a better future.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So if we zoom out from the specifics of this one image and look at the bigger picture,
Okay.
what does it tell us about the state of design today? Where are we headed?
Well, I think it's clear we're entering an era of unparalleled creative freedom.
Yeah.
The lines between disciplines are getting blurrier and blurrier.
Right.
Technology is giving us tools to make ideas real that we couldn't even dream of before. And designers are embracing this new landscape with a sense of adventure and possibility.
It's an exciting time to be alive, to witness this explosion of creativity,
It really is.
this fusion of art, design, and technology. It makes me wonder,
Yeah.
what other disciplines could we bring into this conversation?
Oh, that's a great question.
What about music?
Yeah.
Or dance?
Uh-huh.
Or even culinary arts?
The possibilities are limitless.
They are. As we keep exploring these intersections of art, design, and technology, who knows what incredible creations we might see?
Who knows?
I, for one, am excited to find out.
Me too.
But before we get too carried away with the future,
Right.
I want to bring it back to this image
Okay.
and talk about that symbolism of the figure walking through the space.
Yeah.
Remember, we were discussing the journey, the transition.
Mm-hmm.
The source material suggests it could symbolize progress, innovation, the merging of tradition, and the future.
Right. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a powerful metaphor. Like, the figure is walking through a literal portal into a new era of design.
I like that.
And that tunnel of arches, with its futuristic yet organic feel,
Yeah.
it represents the path forward.
It makes sense.
And the fact that the figure's alone
Mm-hmm.
adds another layer of intrigue.
It does.
Is it a solitary journey of self-discovery
Yeah.
or a pioneering step towards a collective future?
That's a great question.
Isn't it? And it's something for each viewer to ponder on their own.
I agree.
Because the beauty of art is that it allows for multiple interpretations.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this image so captivating.
It is.
It's not just a pretty picture.
Nope.
It's a catalyst for discussion,
Mm-hmm.
for exploration, for imagining all the possibilities.
I love that.
And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
It is.
This image is a reminder that design is powerful.
It is.
It can inspire, challenge, and transform us. And as we move into the future, it's exciting to think about all the new and innovative ways that fashion and architecture will keep merging and evolving.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Me neither. So what does this all mean for you, dear listener?
Yeah, what do you think?
If this image is a glimpse into the future of design,
Mm-hmm.
how might it change how we interact with our clothes, our homes, our cities?
It's the million-dollar question.
It is. If we take the cues from this design,
Okay.
Maybe we'll see a world where functionality and artistry aren't separate anymore.
I like that.
Imagine buildings that flow and move like fabric.
Whoa!
Clothes that adapt to their surroundings like living things.
Mind blown.
Right. And think about sustainability.
Okay.
If design becomes more integrated and holistic,
Yeah.
maybe we can create spaces and clothes that are beautiful. And good for the environment.
That would be amazing.
It would.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the emotional side.
Right.
This image makes you feel a sense of wonder,
It does.
of aspiration,
Yeah.
pushing the limits of what's possible.
It's inspiring.
It is. It reminds us that design isn't just about practicality. It's about creating experiences that enrich our lives, challenge how we see things, and connect us to something bigger than ourselves.
Couldn't agree more.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I
Okay.
want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay, shoot.
We've been talking about fashion and architecture coming together,
Yeah.
but what other disciplines could join the party?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
What about technology, bioengineering,
Uh-huh.
even the performing arts?
Possibilities are endless.
They are. As we keep exploring how art, design, and technology intersect,
Yeah.
who knows what incredible things we might see.
I can't wait to find out.
Me neither. And I hope you are too, dear listener. Remember to check out the show notes for more info on the designers and concepts we talked about today.
Good stuff.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.